争いはなぜなくならないのでしょう。
Hi everyone, welcome to the Jun tutorial. So I've made Jun in Taito alongside with Asuka, so I have some legacy experience on this character. At this time in the game, she is extremely strong, so she's a solid choice to pick. Compared to Tekken Type 2 Jun, she's a lot different as they added a whole heal mechanic behind the character, so she has more tools to play with. Jun is geared around her strong poking and plus range pressure, suffocating the opponent and frustrating them to make a mistake. She has many stances, but don't be overwhelmed as a lot of them are just combo fillers. Just like the Asuka guides, I won't include combos since I'll make this video like way too bloated. There are a lot of Jun combo guides available on YouTube to look up anyway. I will just focus on her game plan. In the description below, there's a written guide and like a rough summary of the video to read back. If you appreciate the video, please show some support through liking, commenting and subscribing. Maybe a super thanks donation would be appreciated as well. Thank you guys. So let's talk about Jun's like heat system and her healing mechanic. So when using certain moves such as forward 1+2 or offward 1, FC downward 1, hop kick, you know, there's a bunch of moves where she will inflict damage to herself when it connects. However, while in heat on these same moves, Jun actually gains life. She actually heals herself, as in she heals her grey life back when she does these certain moves. So like there's supposed to be like a drawback from these moves that, okay, they're extremely strong, but she does like lose life doing them. So she gets like super strong punishments with moves like this and super safe launchers by doing stuff like this. And she loses life, but again in heat, she actually gains life for doing these same moves. So these like supposedly like broken moves, she gains life for doing them while in heat. And what's even better is that Jun actually has one of the best heat smashes in the game, and this heals her like a lot. So I can't demonstrate it right now, but while in heat she gains so much life back using the heat smash, and it is like very damaging. It has a lot of reach. It's 13 frames, so it's extremely fast. And another thing about Jun's heat is that she inflicts so much chip damage while in heat, especially off forward 1+2. You can see the mentioned chip damage I'm doing to Jun there, and as you can see, it doesn't even use up her heat as well. So she does a lot of chip damage to the opponent while healing herself, so her healing mechanics is extremely strong, and she has one of the best heat systems overall. So when the opponent is going to be wanting to like fight out this pressure, to like escape all this plus frames pressure, and this plays into Jun's amazing poking game and counter game, which I'm going to talk about in the key moves soon. So yeah, that's the whole kind of idea about Jun's like healing mechanic. She heals herself in heat on extremely broken moves, which is why she considers like one of the stronger characters in this game, and she has a powerful heat smash on top of that as well to quickly regain her life when she needs to get it back. So let's start to talk about Jun's like key moves. Now I'm not going to go over the whole move list. I'm going to talk about like her more important moves that she uses in a very strong poking game and plus frames pressure playstyle. So let's start with her jab. Now a jab is always a strong move to have for everyone, so Jun is no different. Jab is usually used to quickly apply pressure to the opponent, and it's generally across the board the fastest move that a character has. She has a bunch of follow-ups from it, so she has a jab into a low, which is like used to like catch your opponent off guard, just to quickly like get some chip damage in. She has a jab into a mid, so if the opponent's stuck in for the 1-3, you can start introducing the 1-1 just to like kind of annoy them with quick little cans mix-ups. She has a 1-1, like I said, but goes into the IZUMO stance, which I'll talk about the stance stuff later on. She has 1-2, which can go into the IZUMO pressure by pressing 1-2-2. She can also do 1-2 into side-step cancel, which again I will talk about more in a little bit later on in the video. So she has a bunch of options from her jobs that you can use to keep your opponent on their toes and keep them looking out for follow-ups. Another move that you want to use with Jun is her down forward 1. Down forward 1 is typically like everyone's to go to mid poke. For Jun, this is no exception as well. Jun's down forward 1 is particularly good because she has a high follow-up and a mid follow-up, which are both natural combos on hit, meaning that if the first one connects, the second one is guaranteed. So the opponent, so you can kind of use this in Jun's poking game. So let's say your opponent is looking to duck the high, so the high, they can duck this. But if they're looking to duck the high, that's when you can start introducing the mids. So you want to make them duck into the mids. So you're just going to use the move to like harass the opponent. Generally like your fastest mid check in most situations to poke at with your opponent and make them look out for the extensions. The really good thing about the follow-ups is that on counter hit, if they press into the second hit after down forward 1 on block, for example, you can do a follow-up from it. So with Jun's down forward 1-2, if they press into it, you get off forward 1 guaranteed, which is insanely strong. And if they press into the mid follow-up, you got some extra plus frames to work with. Nothing guaranteed, just some extra plus frames. So as you can see, a very strong mid poke to help with Jun, and then use the extensions for mental framework pressure. Another move you want to use with Jun is her down back 3. This, in my opinion, is going to be like her best low poke. It comes out pretty quickly, it has decent tracking, and yeah, as you can see, it's quite frustrating to eat. So Jun's whole thing going along with her is like her very strong poking game, and this down back 3 just really adds to like her low poke. It's relatively fast for a low poke, and on counter hit, she gains some extra plus frames to work with. So you just want to frustrate your opponent, you know, do a bunch of down back 3s, do a bunch of down forward 1s, and just generally frustrate the opponents to make them overextend and press buttons, which is exactly what Jun wants them to do. Another move you can use with Jun is her down back 2. Down back 2 is more for like high crushing, so down back 3 is more for like quick low poking, while down back 2 is a little bit slower, but it does have high crush properties, which means that if you read your opponent's gonna jab or do something, you can use down back 2 to high crush under and also apply pressure. It leaves Jun in crouching, where she has a very strong full crouching poking game, which I'll talk about soon as well. Another move you want to use with Jun is her down 4. So between down back 3, down back 2 and down 4, they all kind of serve like different purposes. So down 4 is strong because it has really good range compared to other lows, and it's faster as well. It does less damage, of course, so you have to carefully choose the situations that you apply the lows in. Down back 3 more for frustrating pressure, down back 2 for high crushing, and down 4 just for like general like faster poking. So you have to carefully choose how you want to use these lows. Another good thing about down 4 is that it has a follow-up. So if they try to punish down 4 by itself, they'll eat the follow-up and it will interrupt their punish. So you can use this sparingly sometimes to catch them off guard. And down 4 is also natural on counter hit. So if they press and get counter hit by the down 4, the follow-up is guaranteed. Back 2 is also another move that you want to use with Jun. Back 2 is strong because it has extremely good tracking. It tracks to Jun's weak sides, meaning that if they try to step away from Jun's pressure, you can use to kind of catch them. It's also strong because it has a safe mid follow-up with back 2 too. So you can this is a string that you can really just throw out really. And as I said, it's safe on block at -9, so extremely good like poke string to throw out and frustrate opponents with. It has also a bunch of follow-ups such as back 2-1, back 2-1-4, back 2, 1, 2, which are decent, especially the back 2, 1, 2, because if they press into this, it's a knockdown into some guaranteed into Okisemi afterwards. So back 2 is just there to like another poke to complement her down forward 1, just generally like a fast mid poke to frustrate the opponent with and make them play into Jun's game. Another move you want to use is back 4. Back 4 is nice because it's 13 frame, so it's a very fast mid. You can hit confirm the follow up if you're on point, so it can be a pretty rewarding like mid check in certain situations. So you can use back down forward 1, you can use back 2, and you can use back 4, like switch arounds, you know, the mid options that you have depending on the situation. So back 4-2 is just nice because you can hit confirm it. It's also a knee as well. So as you might know, knees beat reversals, sabakis, and counters. So if you suspect your opponent is going to go for sabaki or reversal, like Asuka for example, you can use this to keep them in check. And the good thing is, some back 4-2, the second hit, is a counter at launcher. So if you think your opponent is going to try and take their turn after back 4 and block, you can finish the string and get counter at launcher out of it. So again, it's just another one of those pokes that Jun has to like annoy the opponent with. Now, let's get into like Jun's plus frames. This is like the juice of Jun's pressure game, Saisa 4. Saisa 4 is like the cornerstone of Jun's like pressure game and plus frame pressure. As you can see, Saisa 4 is plus 6 on hits, but it's also her heat engager. So this can be one of Jun's main ways to enter her heat. So as you can see, it's plus 6 on block. So if your opponent likes the pressure afterwards, you can do can-cans for example as a frame trap option. So you just want to frustrate your opponent, you know, like you're slapping this pressure on, you're chipping away at them. They're going to get annoyed, right? They're going to get annoyed and they're going to be like, hey look, stop this, let me get out of here. That's when you can start to frame trap with can-cans. That's when you can start to pressure them with down forward 1. And remember, down forward 1 with all the extensions that you have afterwards. So yeah, Jun's just there to annoy the shit out of the opponent with her plus frames pressure. They're looking out for this, you know, they're blocking all this. And then you're sneaking in your down back 3, you're sneaking in your down 4s, you're sneaking in your back 2-2s, your down forward 1s. You're annoying the opponent a lot, right? So Saisa 4 just really helps that. Down forward now, what if they're like really frustrated and they want to just get away from Jun's pressure, like they want to step away from the pressure and just try and escape it, right? Down forward 3 is going to be one of your main homie moves to use with Jun. So it's a mid, it's safe on block as you can see at -8, so they cannot punish it, and it gives a knockdown as well. And of course at the wall, as you can probably guess, it gives a wall splat, which Jun has very broken wall combos, but like I said, you can look up combo tutorials for that. I won't go over combos too much. Just know that down forward 3 is extremely strong homie move, safe, mid, knocks down. Definitely should be one of your most spammed moves with Jun. Another homie move that you can use with Jun is her forward 4. Forward 4 is strong because on hits, it gives her 1+2. So forward 4 guarantees on normal hits into 1+2, which is one of the main ways that Jun will enter heat to start her heat nonsense, you know. Forward 4 is also good because it's +3 on block, as you can see. So you can frustrate them with down forward 1 afterwards as a frame trap. You know, like similar to Saisa 4 pressure, you're going to want to just annoy the opponent with Saisa 4, forward 4, poke them down, make them play into Jun's pressure game. You have so many options with this character, like to play like a poking game. Another move that you want to use with Jun is her 11 frame or 12 frame standing 4. Now, standing 4 with a lot of characters, there's a universal term called Magic 4, which means it's just like a standing fast counter hit knockdown. In older Tekken games, they used to be counter hit launchers, but in this game, they're just knockdowns. Jun has a really strong follow up after a standing 4. So what you do is standing 4 into 3+4, and it's a very beefy like 48 damage follow up. So you want to use standing 4 if you think your opponent's gonna like overextend under pressure, or you can use it as a frame trap option. So for example, forward 4 on block, you could do standing 4 afterwards as a frame trap. So if they press something, this will be late. So standing 4 is just there to stop the opponent from overextending under pressure, and for you to also like frame trap, which is a very rewarding option, as you can see, with a 3+4 follow-up. So yeah, Magic 4, standing 4, whatever we want to call it, definitely a must use with Jun. So like I mentioned, with the standing 4 being a fast counter tool, we're kind of getting into like the defensive side of Jun. Jun, just like Asuka, just to a lesser extent, has really strong like turn stealing tools, like tools to make the opponents like second guess on their offense. So a move that Jun has that is especially good for this is Dan 3+4. Dan 3+4 is strong because it's a counter launcher at 14 frame. This is what it does on normal hits, right? So it does a little bit of damage and it pushes them back, so you can go back to like a neutral kind of reset, right? However, on counter hit, it's a full launcher, so this is extremely strong because it's 14 frame, which is quite fast for a counter launcher. But it's not only that, that's not the only thing that makes it strong. It low crushes extremely fast, so if you read that your opponent is going to go for a low, or they're just generally like overextending under pressure, or you can use this for your own pressure, like from a frame trap. For example, like +6 into cancans, for example. You can get a big counter launcher, and you can get a big read. So like I said, if you read that your opponent's going to go for a low, instead of blocking the low, you can go for cancans instead. Very, very strong option. Another option that Jun has is her back 2+4 or her back 1+3. You can do the same inputs for the same move. You can do either inputs for the same move. Now, what Jun's reversal is now similar to Asuka's. If you read that your opponent is gonna like try and pursue their plus frames or try to like pressure more, you can use the reversals to steal your turn back. You can use the reversals to like make them second guess on their offense, and be careful how they apply their pressure. So it's just to like, and then when they're like afraid to pressure you because of your defensive tools, that's when you can kind of like steal your turn back and just apply your own pressure back to them. Another move that you can use with Jun, Asuka also has this, is her 4-2+3. 4-2+3 is a sabaki, which means that it's an attack with built-in parry. So what this does in particular is that if your opponent does a punch, it can be from the left arm, it can be from the right arm, it doesn't matter. If they do a punch on you, this is what happens. So you get a full combo. Now I'm not going to show something optimal here or whatever, but the point is you get a full combo off it. So if you read that your opponent is going to go for a jab, or they're going to go for a down forward 1, or anything in relation to their arms, you get a full combo off it. So with good reads, Jun can be such a monster on stealing the opponent's turn. Another move that you can use with Jun for like kind of like defensive turn stealing but also keep out is our back 3. Back 3 is good because if your opponent likes to approach Jun and they approach in like in a bad way, or they approach and you have a good read on their timing of when they approach, you can use back 3 to keep them out. Back 3 is good because there's like pushback on block, meaning the move is very awkward for the characters to punish, and when you hit it, you can hit confirm the follow-up. You can hit confirm the follow-up by doing back 3 into 2, so only when you see a connect on hit, you press 2, and then you get a full combo afterwards, of course. So back 3 is definitely must use with Jun. Another move you want to use with Jun is her 4-2. 4-2 is good because it's a fast whip punisher, it has a lot of range, and it's going to be your main whip punisher with Jun. So like you're playing the spacing game, your opponent whips something, like they miss something in neutral, you use 4-2 to whip punish them. So you should always be ready as a Jun player, or even as an Asuka player, you should always be ready to help this unlock. And you can also cancel 4-2 by holding down, which is really good to approach your opponent with. So your opponent's like freezing up, you can use to approach the opponent and go into full crouch, which I'll talk about in a little while. Another move you're going to use with Jun, and to be honest, you can kind of just throw this move out a lot because it's kind of broken right now. It's her down for 2, 1+2. Down for 2, 1+2 is crazy good because it's safe on block. Remember I mentioned earlier in the healing section of this tutorial that it does cause some light to Jun. It causes self-damage to her, but in heat, it actually heals her, right? So, and this move gives you a very, very insane combo. So, honestly, I'm pretty sure they're going to take this combo out. And again, you can look up combo tutorials for this kind of stuff, but I'm just showing you that combo because that combo is extremely strong. And it's off a safe launcher with down for 2, 1+2. Safe on block. The follow-up chills, meaning they can't like interrupt or anything in between. So, this move just kind of spamish, especially in heat. Like extra spam it as well. Another move you want to use with Jun is while standing 1+2. While standing 1+2 is a counter launcher. Again, I'm not going to show like optimal here or whatever, but it is a counter launcher, and that's by that end race guarantees, by the way, which are definitely taken out, but that's a different story. So while standing 1+2 is good because it's a good range mid. You can cancel it by holding down to go into crouch in the opponent's face, and we're going to talk about Jun's crouching game in the next few minutes. So while standing 1+2, if your opponent is respecting it because of this, you know they're afraid of the counter launcher, so they're respecting this at neutral. That's when you cancel it by holding it down and force pressure, or you don't even have to go into the crouch to do crouch moves, right? You can cancel into it and stand up and then apply your pressure as normal. With your poke game plus frames, you can apply pressure that way as well. So let's talk about Jun's crouching game. So you have your cancels to approach the opponent with 4-2 and while standing 1+2. Now what do you actually do when you're in their face? So one of your moves is going to be while standing 2. While standing 2 is a 13 frame mid out of crouch. So it's a good like little poke out of crouch to harass the opponent with. Now what's extra really strong property of this move is that while standing 2 on counter hit is a launcher. If you do demo +2 as a follow-up, or you can do down for 4 as a follow-up, so you get like a whole combo. Again, nothing optimal, you can look up videos for that, but while standing 2 is extremely strong tool to have as Jun, and she has a follow-up while standing 2-1. So if you think your opponent's gonna press after while standing 2 on block, you can do the follow-up sometimes to interrupt them from taking their turn after while standing 2. To complement the while standing 2, Jun has FC down for 2. This is exactly the same as Asuka's in every way. FC down for 2 is a poke with good range. It has really good tracking. It's 0 on hit and it's not too unsafe on block as well. Now, what really shines about Jun's version of this move compared to Asuka is on counter hit, Jun gets a very easy mode counter launcher. So FC down for 2 on counter hit guarantees a while standing 3, which is extremely strong. So this is just like another layer of Jun's like frustrating poking game. So FC down for 2 is just another layer to that. Another move you can use with Jun is her FC down for 3. FC down for 3, if you are close enough to the opponent, it knocks them down and you get a free follow-up. You can do a follow-up at 4-2, or you can do a follow-up with 4-2. Now, 4-2, if you don't lose some life. 4-2, if you don't mind losing a bit of life for a bit of extra damage. So this is like, if you want like make a big comeback with Jun, and you want to start like applying like pressure power mix-ups, you can start throwing in FC down for 3. This is pretty good at the wall because they can't backdash away from it, right? So they can't backdash away from this, so they're forced to like hold this mix-up. Another move you can use with Jun from crouching is her falling rain. Falling rain, like Asuka, she has this move as well. It's just a launchy grab, so it's done by doing FC, then back 1+2. In this game, where counter hit grabs are extremely strong, if you grab someone and it's a counter hit, it becomes like near impossible to break. So throwing this move out sometimes during your pressure or the opponent's pressure can be a pretty good idea. This is also pretty good to access from 4-2 cancel while standing 1+2 cancel to go into FC, and then you can do falling rain from crouch. So it's a pretty good strategy to do. So in the next session, let's talk about Jun's stances. So that kind of covers like her key moves in neutral, in terms of poking, in terms of pressure, in terms of mix-ups. There's obviously more moves to talk about, but those are definitely the key moves that I would use as a Jun player. So let's start to talk about Jun stances. So let's start with the Miare stance. So this stance is new in Tekken 8. It's not too useful in neutral, it's more of a combo filler than anything else. So in Miare, she can hold forward to go into GENJITSU, which is another stance that she has. She can also do Miare 1+2 to go into IZUMO. So she has a bunch of transitions to go into the other stances. She can also cancel out of it by tapping up or tapping down. While she's in the stance, she's healing herself, as you can see with the yellow aura. So what does she have in this stance? She has Miare 1, which is a safe mid launcher. She has Miare 2, which is a heat engager. However, it's really unsafe on block, as you can see at -20, so it's not too useful in neutral. So it's more of a combo filler stance more than anything else, but it can be useful to, if you have some space in neutral, like your full screen or whatever, you can use Miare to quickly heal yourself a little bit, recover your grey life a little bit, and then cancel out of it quickly. And if your opponent tries to approach you, you can maybe space this out a little bit to catch them off guard, but generally I would keep it to combos. So let's talk about Jun's GENJITSU stance. She had this in Tag 2, but it's obviously much better now with additional tools added to it. So you're going to use this stance more often than the other two in neutral and in pressure. So what can we do with this stance? So first of all, you can access the stance by doing 4Q+4. You can also access the stance by doing Miare into forwards, or you can do 4-4-2 into it as well, and there's a few other little transitions as well. So what are the main options out of this stance? So she has GENJITSU 1, which is gonna be your low option out of this stance. Use this to apply pressure and mix-ups. In heat, if you do GENJITSU 2+3, the low becomes enhanced into like a full knockdown and extra damage. So it's definitely something worth looking out for the opponents when they're dealing with this mix-up situation. Another move you have out of GENJITSU is 2, which is the Power Crush. This is normally used as our combo ender. So this is like her main combo ender. So, and also if your opponent likes to try and attack Jun while she's in GENJITSU, you can use the armor property on the move to deter them from attacking it. Bit risky, but it is there. Another move you can use out of GENJITSU is GENJITSU 3. This is going to be like your safe mid option out of GENJITSU. Now if you do GENJITSU 3-2, it's a natural combo which does self damage to Jun, and again if you're in heat, it will heal Jun instead. It is safe on block, which is a crazy tool, and as you can see it is a natural combo, meaning that if Jun connects 3, the follow-up is guaranteed. So you can use this to mix up with this. So this can be like your main mid-low option. So this for low and this for the mid option. So that's how you apply the pressure. You can do it in neutral. Another good thing with the GENJITSU stance is that you can hold down to go into crouch. And remember we talked about Jun's FC games. You can do FC down for 2, you can do while standing 2, you can do falling rain for example. There's a lot of things you can do with it, right? Another move that Jun has is the GENJITSU 4. Now this is more for combo filler than using a neutral because it is quite slow. However, it is +4 on block, meaning you can pressure them afterwards. but I would say it's more of a combo filler, such as her Hokke combo into Genjitsu 4, and she can do a follow-up after that. So it's definitely more of a combo filler than a neutral troll, but the main thing you're going to be doing is the Genjitsu 1 and the Genjitsu 3-2. So let's talk about Jun's last stance, which is her IZUMO stance. IZUMO can be accessed by doing up to raw, and it's a homing move in itself as well, or you can transition into it with common entries such as 1-1, 1-2-2, forward 1, or forward 3-2. So you can use these moves to access IZUMO, most commonly in my opinion by 1-1 and 1-2-2. Now let's talk about what moves she has in the IZUMO stance. So she has IZUMO 1-1, which isn't very useful in neutral in my opinion, or during pressure. It's more of a combo filler. It's more of a combo filler because it does the tornado. However, if they are ducking the 1-1, you can do IZUMO 1-2, which is a mid follow-up, and it guarantees a knockdown. Just be careful as it is unsafe on block. She has IZUMO 2, which is a -13 mid launcher. So if you think your opponent's going to duck, you can use this as a risky way to get a launcher. She also has IZUMO 3, which is a mid-high, but it jails on block, meaning they can knock off the high. So this is safe on block. It is also a heat engager, so it is there as a heat engager if you need it. Why would they duck IZUMO stance? So I'm showing all these mids, but why would they duck? So IZUMO 4-1 is another move that Jun has. So this can be like her low option and her only low option. Just be careful as it is launch punchable on block. However, some people can see it and react to IZUMO 4-1, meaning that they will blockish on reaction if they have enough experience with it. So I would be careful applying these mix-ups to people who are more familiar with the matchup. But if they can't react to it, then feel free to abuse the mix-up on them between the hull sweep and between the various mids that she has. Another move that she has is the 1+2. It's an unsafe power crush, just like Genjitsu 2. It's just a mid power crush that she has in the stance. If you think your opponent's gonna try and interrupt your pressure, you're gonna go for this. However, I wouldn't really recommend doing it. I would keep it for combos. Jun's main mids, to me, in my opinion, is gonna be her 4+2. 4+2 is a safe mid option that you can safely exit if IZUMO with on counter hit. She gets free upward 1, or if you don't want to lose life doing upward 1, you can opt for back 4-2 if you don't want to lose life doing upward 1. So like I said, it's gonna be your main way to exit IZUMO stance. One of Jun's transitions 1-2-2-2. If the seconds 2 counter hits, you get the 4+2 guaranteed, or if the up 2 counter hits, you get the 4+2 guaranteed. Just any transition into IZUMO like this will give you that as a guaranteed follow-up. You can hit confirm it because the screen shakes when you do it, so you can visually confirm it and go for the 4+2. So keep an eye out and be ready for that. So as you can see, Jun is quite a powerful character at this time in the game. Definitely one of the best characters right now at this moment in time. So I hope this video was educational and that you learned a lot. You know, please stay subscribed to my channel as I upload more content of the girls in Tekken, and especially for Jun and Asuka. Thank you so much for watching.